Well, welcome everyone to iteach Live. It's Monday, June 15th, and I am Dr. Zach Roselle. Gathered here today with a special guest, we have Mahua Chakraborty. She is a middle school math and science teacher teaching at Universal Academy. She has taught this very unique year for the fall and spring as a first-year teacher at the middle school setting. We also have on the Zoom conference today her field supervisor, Miss Denise Rodriguez, who's been with iteach for a number of years with a great deal of experience. And so welcome both of y'all to the show today. Appreciate the time being here, excited to see what this show has to offer. But where I wanted to start is, Mahua, with the uniqueness of this school year. You're stepping into your first year of teaching, which there's a bunch of unknown. You're going in. Talk to me a little bit about how this school year played out and a little bit of the difference from the fall as you're starting to gain experience into the spring semester, enter COVID-19. What was the year like for you as a first year teacher?
When I joined in, this was my first year teaching in the US. I'm basically from India. So when I stepped in a classroom setup in the US, this was the first time I was actually coming in. Yeah. I had no experience of how the things go on in a classroom in the US. I've just heard from my son about what he does and what the teacher does here, because it's totally different. The classroom setup, the management, the type of management that's here in the US, it's totally different from what I've seen in India. Mm-hmm. But I would say that I was really blessed to be a part of the Universal Academy family, because the kind of support I got from them, it was amazing. I could not have had a better start than this, because the way they supported me, told me every single thing. I am really not reluctant to ask questions. I had my cohort, Dr. Jones. She was there for me, right? Literally there for me all the time. I had my co-workers. They were all with me throughout the year. So the fall was okay. It was like me knowing the students, they knowing me, because it's different when you come to a teenager like environment, because sometimes they are reluctant to open up in front of you. Me being the first year teacher, and they'd have never seen me in the campus earlier. Mm-hmm. So, but you know, slowly I gained their trust, and it was beautiful. Like, I love those kids. And then gradually came December, we had this break, the winter break, and then we came to January, and this whole thing of COVID-19 started coming up in the news, and the students were a bit paranoid at times. Like, we had incidents, if somebody would cough in the class, they would start saying that, you know, you better get checked. So we had these episodes. So, but it was always fun for me. But yes, after the spring break, the school actually closed for good. But we did not stop in any way. Like, we had our Zoom classes going on every week. Every time I got an email from a parent, from a student, like my son or my daughter needs help, we were there to help them out. So it was like a teamwork for all of us at Universal Academy, and we sailed through it. And I think the students did fairly well. They turned up for the Zoom classes, but I would say that it is good in one way that we had already finished with most of our learning, like academic learning, because most of the TEKS, most of the curriculum that was designed for the 7th grade, it was already finished. So we were basically doing a revision through our Zoom classes, or they were clarifying their doubts, because we were scheduled for the STAR in May. So the students were almost ready for the STAR. So in a way, like if it would have happened in the beginning of the year, I would have struggled a lot. Yeah. Because that rapport between the student and the teacher would not have been set up. and I would not have known my students that well. So all in all, it was like a really, really good experience for me as a teacher. But yeah, sadly, because of COVID-19, I couldn't say goodbye to my students.
Yeah, that it's always difficult when those bonds grow and they become more than just, really an instructor and learner. It's that teacher-student relationship that you're building, not to be able to formally say goodbye as, these students they're progressing to the next grade level. Sure, you might see them around on campus, but there is that that relationship you have where you want to see them off to that next stage of life, that next journey. And so I think that as we've done these live calls, as good as technology is, that interpersonal relationship of really being able to provide closure to the school year was a little bit lost.
Yeah.
It's what's really, really exciting is Dr. Jones speaks extremely highly of you, stating that you always were able to rise to any challenge that presented itself. And I think just hearing your passion, having the uniqueness of this year, you really did rise to the challenge and exceeded expectations as a first-year educator. And so what we would like to do on behalf of iteach Texas, you have been nominated for the Emmett Baker Elementary Teacher of the Year. And so you've been awarded that distinguished honor, and just want to congratulate you for that. It's
thank you so much.
Yeah, my privilege to be able to present this. We've had so every year we nominate an elementary teacher, which would be K through 6, and then a secondary teacher 7 through 12, and get hundreds of nominations. And your application stood out really above the others, and so it is a great honor, and it is my distinct privilege to provide that to you. Part of this award, you do get the distinction of being the 2019 or 2020 Elementary Teacher of the Year. We also will reimburse you for the full fees you paid to the program. So as a scholarship, you get that reimbursed to you. And what I'd like to do right now is have Denise talk a little bit about what seeing you in the classroom inspired her to write her glowing recommendation for your nomination to Teacher of the Year. So Denise, you mind sharing with us a few thoughts?
Not at all. Good morning, iteach Texas. And as an administrator, I've always thought that great teaching is providing educational stability to all students by truly flexible teachers. And Zach, I knew what an outstanding teacher Ms. Chakraborty was when I first observed her in a portable and without a lot of excessive technology. Yet she had a room full of middle school students, and they were all focused on math. Well, I got into it with them, and we all enjoyed what we were learning. And I'm so proud of her and for her administration, and certainly of iteach Texas, for helping her and so many others become certified in the fields that they love. And even during this time, I've got to tell you folks, iteach Texas didn't miss a beat. I think we were one of the very first organizations that got wavered, and our governor signed off and said, oh no, we will get these teachers certified. So I know how much it means to him and of course the state of Texas. But especially at this time, let's all as educators be flexible enough to keep giving our students that educational stability. I think that's very important. Thank you for recognizing Ms. Chakraborty. She's one of the good ones. Yeah. I'm telling you, she's one of the good ones.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez, for always, giving me those inputs after your observations. They meant a lot, and I worked on them. So it was really, really good to know you and to, work with you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Now she's telling me goodbye. I'm going to cry. All right.
No. No, please, no. I have your contact number, so I won't leave you.
Good.
Well, Mahua, I want you, you're going into your second year. We've got teachers all gamuts. There's individuals watching this show that want to get into teaching. There's first year teachers, there's veteran teachers watching. What is your piece of advice to give to other educators? Because our hope is next school year doesn't look the same as this school year. It's going to look different in some way. But what advice, what do you want to give other educators that out there that are listening?
I feel that the ones who are basically enrolled in iteach and they are looking out for their jobs, their first year jobs, I would like to tell them to be patient, because that's the biggest thing we lose on. I know how much I troubled my family through it. Like I had like some very bad moments, like where I would feel hopeless that you know what, I'm not getting this job. I'm passing all the interviews. I don't get the call. I did so well in the interview, but I don't get that job. Why don't I get that job? So you know what? Patience is the key over here for the beginner teachers, because sometimes it is hard to get in there. But if you are, sincere enough towards your job and you are giving your 100% to your job, I feel that your talent, your passion for teaching will be recognized somewhere. And, just be there for the students, because for the middle schoolers, as I can say, they need somebody apart from their family to listen to them. Sometimes they would cry in front of you like babies, and you have to basically then listen to their all their story, what's going on at home. So sometimes it's sad to hear what's going on at home. So I feel that if somebody has that passion for the job, because I love doing that, like teaching, giving some moral values to the students, because I always feel that in my class, I said it like as a rule or as a normal thing that, you know what, there's a difference between being educated and being literate. You're coming here to be educated, not just being, able to understand, oh, this is a formula and I have to use this and I have to find some answer to a question. No, like coming to school, it's more than just using a formula and getting your answer. You're coming here to learn something else as well.
Sure.
Because, so be respectful, be obedient, be, tolerant towards one another. Try to make the correct decision for yourself. Don't point fingers at the others. If somebody is doing wrong, don't choose the wrong path. You know yourself what is wrong, what is right.
Yeah.
So choose to do the correct thing. So it's difficult because some students, they really, really need that guidance. And I feel that as future citizens, because we are molding them into like the future citizens. So as educators, we are accountable at some point of time. So I feel that this is what I have, gathered.
Well, and I want to ask one other question. You made mention, and I think and Denise, you can chime into this as well. I think as educators, there's something where you want to be the source of knowledge. You want to be able to have answers more times than not. But a big characteristic of being a great teacher is to be teachable yourself. We instill in our students lifelong learning, that it is more than just formulas and equations. You're learning how to be a productive citizen. You're learning how to critically think. And a lot of that, as educators, we need to embrace ourselves. And you made a comment that I thought was really good, that you weren't afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
Which one is helped formulated by Universal Academy, having that culture and that climate where you felt welcome to ask questions. Mm-hmm. But to speak just to a little bit of that, one, having the humility to know when you don't know the answer, mm-hmm. But then how did you have certain people you went to? Do you have one individual person that was kind of your point of contact? But whether you're a veteran teacher or a new teacher stepping into a new campus or district, the ability to ask the appropriate questions at the appropriate time is really key for your success. And so you were stepping into a situation where you were a low man on the totem pole. You didn't have a history with Universal Academy. So what made you comfortable enough to ask those questions and get the help that you needed?
The people there.
Yeah.
It is like, even if anybody comes in there, I have like not a single person. There was every single one, you know, because when I went, sorry, when I went to the orientation, the new teachers orientation, and for my teachers training, I just heard these words being said that we are a family here, we are supporting each other. But this is not the first time I've heard this. I've heard this many times before. But, you know, to put these words in action,
Yeah.
you have to come to Universal Academy to see that. You know, it's really, really amazing. I told you, like, I could not have imagined a better start than this. Because
Great.
I have seen, while I was, you know, grading something and I was stuck somewhere, I was sitting next to one teacher and she left her work and came out to help me. We had a deadline. She knew that she was wasting her time explaining things to me, but she didn't mind that. She just came to me and she helped me out. So this sort of love and support that I got there, I don't think so I would have got anywhere else. I was really blessed in this way.
That's great.
So that was not just one person. My principal, Mrs. Duffy, all the administrators, everybody, they would have a beautiful smile every time. They would encourage you every time. They knew that sometimes I would be low, that, oh God, the students are not, I'm not able to control some things in my classroom. What do I do? Or something, you know, middle schoolers, sometimes they are on some other track. Sometimes they are on some other track. It's tricky at times.
Yeah.
So for me to, you know, and figure out that what is the best course of action I should take. I had my super mentor. I had my friends, like my co-workers. They were just amazing. Every time they could make out from my face that I was struggling with something, and they would just don't beat yourself out. You got it. You got it. And, you know, that would always go in my head as a chant that, yes, I got it. I got it. I will do it. So, you know, it's not everybody is that lucky. I totally agree to that.
Zach, I do want to tell you that this is my first school that the principal comes out to the parking lot and would meet me at my car and would walk me into the building to sign in, and then would walk me back to Ms. Chakraborty's portable. And on the way, she would be discussing how she was coming along and what she was doing. It was just amazing. And that's Dr. Jones. And she was just amazing. So this is truly an outstanding school. But you also have, of course, a very outstanding young lady as our candidate.
Okay. That's good.
But that was amazing to me.
Of course.
Yeah, and to the point that was brought up, if you cultivate that family dynamic where you feel vulnerable, or you feel that you can be vulnerable to ask questions, know you're going to get help. But I love that other teachers could even just see it on your face. It speaks to the intimacy that y'all had, right? Oh, no, let's help step in. Teaching is a very unique profession. We're not working in cubicles. We're amongst people, and sometimes that can be really messy, but then it can be really beautiful, the way that you can serve the kids, the bonds that you have. And so, you know, on behalf of iteach Texas, on behalf of Dr. Jones, Ms. Duffy with Universal Academy, congratulations. Thank you so much for your service. We are excited to see what the next 20 years brings and how you grow and develop and the lives that you have the opportunity to change. Job well done this year, and we are looking forward to many more years to come.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all being around. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining the iteach Live call. We do have these recorded and posted to our YouTube page, and we'll have that link provided. But on behalf of iteach, we are grateful that you are joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon.